Hey friends, welcome back to Truthatude. My name is Lindsey Servin, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to me. If you are new here, welcome. Every week I put out videos talking about how to build confidence and the different issues that we face as women in our personal and professional lives. So welcome to the channel. Today's video is inspired by my dear friend who recently just moved into her very own apartment for the first time, and I wanted to talk about how to be confident and safe when you're living alone. Now, I have lived on my own for the majority of my life now, and I have come across instances where I've been scared or where my safety has been jeopardized. So I thought it was something that was really important to talk about, especially during the time of quarantine, where a lot of us single ladies are finding ourselves at home alone for the majority of time. So if you are somebody who lives alone, these tips are going to help you feel more confident and more safe in your sacred space. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about when you're living alone is when you have people doing service on your home, whether that's the cable person, a plumber, somebody working on your air conditioner or installing your internet. I really recommend that when you have a service person in your home, if you live by yourself, you should leave the front door open, and if not all, at least one of your windows open. The reason I say this because a lot of women are attacked in their home by somebody providing a service to their home. If you have not seen Eye for an Eye with Sally Field, you need to watch this movie. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just trying to prepare you and keep you safe in your home. But the guy in this movie was delivering this woman's groceries and he attacked her. So the first tip for your safety when living alone is to make sure that you leave the door and some windows open when you have somebody in your home servicing something in your home. The second thing I want to talk about in order to make you feel safe and more confident living alone is always lock your door. Even if you are inside your home, or if you're just running quickly to the mailbox, or if you're running to take your dog out for a quick walk, always lock your door. I know that this sounds a little paranoid, but I had an instance where a friend of mine ran out really quick just to her car to grab something, and when she came in, some drunk guy accidentally walked into her apartment by mistake. Now, thankfully, it was an honest mistake and she didn't get hurt, but she walked into her apartment scared out of her mind because there's a giant drunk dude in her apartment. So lock your door every time you leave your apartment, and if you're home alone, lock your door. The third thing I want to talk about when you live alone is something very practical and might sound a little childish, but it has definitely made me feel more confident and more safe when living alone. I recommend having night lights in the hallways and in every room of your house. Now, I don't actually have a nightlight in my bedroom because it affects my sleep. I do have a nightlight in my bathroom so that I don't have to flick on the bright light if I have to go pee in the middle of the night. And I do have a nightlight in each room of my house and the hallways. And this is just in case something were to happen, you can see where you're going and you're not fumbling around in the dark. So I highly recommend having night lights. The next tip to feel more confident and safe while living alone is to keep a flashlight and some form of protection near your bed and your front door. Now, I recommend having some form of protection, whether that's a knife, a firearm, a baseball bat, mace, or a taser, near your bed and near the front door. Now, God forbid somebody break into your home, you need something within reach, especially if it happens in the middle of the night and it wakes you out of sleep. Now, I recommend having a flashlight by your bed and by the front door as well, because sometimes the power goes out and you need to have a quick place, easy to access, to get some light for yourself. And it's also a really just general good safety measure to always have a flashlight handy. Now, for me, I kind of overdo it, and that's because if you're new to my channel, you wouldn't know this, but for for those of you who've seen some of my videos, I have been attacked in the past, and so this is not coming from a place of paranoia. This is coming from a place of experience and genuinely wanting you to feel prepared and safe in your home and really enjoy living alone. So for me, I have a baseball bat, I have a knife, I have mace, I have a taser, I have a golf club. So mine's a little excessive, but I have been attacked before, so that's kind of where that comes from, and I recognize that that is excessive, so just know that. One really good practice to do while living alone, and it will make you feel more confident and safe and also more cozy, is to shut down the house for the night. That means going around to each room, closing the windows, shutting down the blinds, making sure the doors are locked, and that the house is kind of tidy. Now, not only is this good for safety reasons because you have the confidence knowing that all your doors and windows are locked, but it also makes the house more cozy and it kind of gets you in the mindset to go to bed and you'll rest more peacefully. Now, quick little tip, if you are someone like me and in your house you have blinds that go up or down, quick little trick. If you live upstairs where someone can see up into your window, then you want to point the blinds facing down. That way they can't see up through the slats of the blinds. Now the opposite, if you live on ground level or you live in such a way that people can look down into your windows, you're gonna wanna face the slats of the blinds down so that they can't see through the slats. Now, I know this sounds really crazy, but it is a practical tip to keep you safe so that people can't see into your windows, even when you have the blinds closed, and a lot of people don't think of that. So women, we are gifted with incredible intuition. However, societal norms and expectations often condition women to ignore our survival instincts and that intuition in order to be polite or be nice. And unfortunately, this can put us in some dangerous situations. So my recommendation to you as women is to always, always, always trust your instincts. It doesn't matter if you hurt somebody's feelings. If you don't feel right, or you feel unsettled, or you feel unsafe, trust your instincts. Believe me, and I'll tell you an example of why this is so important. I had a neighbor that he said a weird comment to me once, and immediately my spidey senses kind of started to go crazy. And I'll just tell you what the comment was. I was walking my dog and we had had an issue with him having his cat out and his cat kind of trying to attack my dog. And so I just told him, I was like, you need to keep your cat inside. And so he kind of got in my face a little bit, and then I saw him again when I was walking my dog, and he came up to me and he apologized, and he was like, listen, I don't want to have any problems with you because you're my neighbor and you have a super hot body. And I was kind of like thrown off at that he just inserted that strange comment, and instantly I knew. I was like, this guy is weird. So over the course of months living in the same building as this guy, I had told people, I'm like, look, I'm kind of on watch with this guy. I started to notice that he was ever present. He was making himself more in my space than usual, and then he would try to get my attention, try to get me to talk to him. And eventually I told my friends, I was like, this guy is not safe. I don't feel safe. And then he did. He started to follow me. He started to stalk me. And then eventually I found out that he tried to kill his family. No joke. So trust your instincts. And as someone who has had several stalker situations to the point where like police got involved and, you know, my safety was in real jeopardy, like I said, I'm not trying to make you paranoid. I'm not trying to make you scared. I'm trying to make you feel prepared and safe, because I truly believe that your home should be your sanctuary. I feel like it should be a place of calm, serenity, peace, cozy, and I want every woman to feel confident living on her own. I think that it is one of the most incredible experiences you can ever have. I think every woman should live on her own for at least a year at some point in her life, because it is truly transformational and you really do learn a lot about yourself. But in doing so, You do need to be prepared and know how to keep yourself safe. Another tip, and this is something that my friends will laugh at me when they see this video because they know that I'm nosy, and I will tell you this: nosy neighbors save lives. Now, I'm not telling you to put your nose in everybody's business. What I am telling you is to become aware of the regulars where you live. Notice where people live, notice what kind of cars they drive, notice the people that live in your building. Get familiar with the people who should be in your community so that if something happens, you know if there's some weird guy that you've never seen before in your community and he's lurking around an apartment that you know he doesn't live in, make yourself aware of your surroundings. And I'll tell you what, nosy neighbors save lives. So just become aware of who's coming and going in your community, what cars they drive, you know, who's supposed to be going in and out of certain apartments if you live in an apartment or just in the houses around you. And if you see something, say something. Just check in with your neighbors. And I'll tell you another tip, especially us ladies. If you are a single female living alone in a community, find another single woman living alone and make friends with her because you guys can watch out for each other. I was lucky to have a neighbor who also lived on her own, and we weren't friends, but we were friendly and we did watch out for each other. If there was a package sitting out in front of her door and she wasn't gonna be home for a couple of days, I would take her package and I would text her and let her know, hey, I'll hang on to your package until you get home. So we had kind of a system. So if there's another single female living in your neighborhood or in your community, try to make friends with her and watch out for each other. One really practical tip to feel confident and safe while living alone, and this comes from a background of me always having to pack up and leave in an instant. When I was a kid, we got evicted a lot. I was homeless and lost a lot of my belongings, and we got escorted out of apartments several times in my childhood. But one thing that I learned from that was to always have an emergency backpack ready. And I call it my jam bag for when you got a jam. Now, I live in Florida and hurricanes are a real thing, so what I recommend is to have a backpack that has a couple $100s in cash and a full outfit, sneakers, jeans or shorts, t-shirt, just something that you can change into if you have to leave on a moment's notice, evacuate, or something happens to your apartment and you gotta spend the night. It's always good to just have a backpack ready to just grab and go in case you don't have time to pack or think. So I recommend having your own jam bag. I have one, I keep it in my closet, and I'm ready to go at a moment's notice in case I get evacuated, in case something happens in my apartment, or if I need to just grab and go. So I recommend that you do that. In line with that, I recommend that you keep important papers somewhere that's easily accessible and that you'll remember. And I also recommend taking a picture of important papers or important documents and keeping it on your phone just in case something happens or you're not home to grab those important papers. So a couple of things that you can do that are just practical living alone so that you can be extra prepared for emergencies. My goal with this video is definitely not to scare you. I don't believe in living in fear or being paranoid. But I know what it's like to live on your own, especially for the first time, and there are moments where you do feel a little scared sometimes. So my goal is to empower you to feel confident and to feel safe living on your own, especially if it's for the first time. These are just some practical tips that I've implemented in my life to make me feel more at peace in my own home, to make me feel confident, and to definitely make sure that I am safe in my own apartment. The last tip that I want to talk about, and this isn't necessarily around your home, but it is relevant to living alone, is to make sure that you let people know where you're going. I had to have a little come to Jesus conversation with my best friend. She lives out in California and she loves to go hiking by herself. Now, she doesn't tell anybody where she's going, and I, for one, just think that you should always let somebody know where you're going Whether that's just in a casual conversation, you let your girlfriend know like, hey, I'm running errands today, I'm going to Target. Because when you live alone, especially if you don't have a great relationship with your family, or you move to a location where you don't know a lot of people, if something happens to you, it might take a while before anybody knows. And the reason I had this conversation with my friend was because when she goes hiking and nobody knows, something could happen to her in the mountains. She could twist an ankle, she could, you know, fall or get hurt, or, you know, get dehydrated, and nobody would know how to help her or how to find her because nobody knew she was out hiking. So I highly encourage you to always let people know kind of what you're doing or where you're going, especially if you live alone or you live in a new city where you don't know a lot of people. That's just an extra measure to make sure that you're safe and that you can come back to your home safely and peacefully. So I hope that these tips help you feel empowered, help you feel confident and more safe living on your own, because I truly do think that a woman living on her own is one of the greatest experiences that you can have in your life, and it's such a wonderful blessing to be able to live on your own and truly get your independence and your sense of self and get to know yourself better. I don't want you to live in fear, I don't want you to live paranoid, but I do want you to live safely and peacefully in your home. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That really helps us grow this community. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. If you want more or you like this kind of content, you can always check out the blog truthatude.com. As a reminder, I do post videos every Tuesday, so be sure to mark your calendar, or better yet, you can hit that little notifications bell so that you never miss a video. If you want to hear more about my creepy neighbor, I actually did a separate video on how to stay safe when you're out and about as a woman, and I will leave the link in the description box below. But I talk more about my experience with that neighbor, and then also some really great tips on how to stay safe when you're just out and about living your life. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate your support. Until next time, stay true to the Truthatude. Ciao!